I have been selling on eBay for many, many years. And in the past, I used to sell electronics. And now I mainly only sell clothing. And right here, guys, this is a store that I started a year ago. Right now, we just hit $21,000 in a month. And we're growing week by week, month by month. Here in like a month, month and a half, I think we're going to hit $40,000 a month. And I know that might sound crazy, but we are getting 60,000 pounds of clothing within the next month. That's going to give us a huge boost. In the past, I used to do electronics, and I made a video that I'm going to show you guys a clip of the mentality that I used to have in the past. And it still is pretty much my mentality. And that was my game plan when I got into clothing, when I switched from electronics to clothing. I'm going to play the video. No, I always mix it like that. And whenever I do mix it like that, I have an amazing week, anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 in the week. And it's something that we didn't really know we were doing. We just thought of mixing them in like that, a 70-30 rule. And basically all it is 70% of your items, 15 to 25, and 30% of your store is 100 and up, more expensive kind of items. And for example, I have some of the items that sold right here, so you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. So right here, guys, I have the 70% of my store, which 70% of my store is 6,000 items or something like that, and 2,000 of them are, bigger stuff, medium stuff that are, higher in price. So right here, I have this Beats pill speaker that gets sold for, I think, like 15 bucks, 4 parts. This camera right here sold for like 15 bucks, $8, 25, 15. This one sold for 40. This sold right here for 30, brand new. It's like a measuring thing, a digital measurer. Right here for $20. Hey guys, it goes on and on. As you guys can see, my cart right here is full. This is about like 50 items that's sold. All right, guys, as you guys can see right there, my idea when I did electronics, when I was buying in massive quantities of pallets full of electronics, was that 70% of my store was going to be the bread and butter item, the 15 to 25 price range item. And then like 30% of my store was going to be higher end stuff. Now, with electronics, it was much easier to fill in that gap of 30% of my store being $100, $80 and up. Sometimes I would get $1,000 items, right? With electronics, it was a whole different ballgame. But now, with clothing, it is much different. I do get very high-end stuff. The bulk of my store is $25 average sell price items. That is something that I can repeatedly do, that I can find anywhere, that there's low competition. There's no one fighting for those items. Everyone's fighting for the high-end stuff when it comes to clothing. The clothing market is completely saturated, so everyone is fighting for those top-tier things that everyone knows about. The vintage clothing, the high-end jackets, Y2K stuff. All the high-end stuff everyone kind of knows about and is searching for. So there's high competition and there's less of it out in the market. With the $20 to $25 average sell price items, you can grow it to however much you want, as much money as you want. The only thing is, guys, this model does not work for everyone. I don't recommend it for everyone. I highly suggest starting off small, starting with stuff that sells extremely fast, that rotates within your inventory very quickly when you're starting off like in a bedroom. There's a lot of people that watch me and want to do a lot of volume. So this is something that has worked for me, that has worked for my business model. So I want you guys to be very careful with what model you guys want to choose. See how I do it, see how other people do it, and then get your own way of doing it. This has worked for me 2 times with 2 different kinds of products. If you guys are familiar with the Resale Brothers, I am pretty cool with them, I would say. They have been on my channel in the past. They actually do the same exact thing. When I was, first venturing into clothing, when I saw their videos, that's exactly what I was doing with electronics, but they do it with clothing. So I was just like, I'm gonna just continue to do what I was doing prior with electronics and just implement that into clothing. And it's a great model that works, but it's not for everyone. It is not for everyone. You need a very good system. You need a good inventory system. You need to get product in bulk. You need to process it quickly. And you need a bigger store. That's the only way it really works. You can't do this model when you have 100, 200 items. It won't work. You need to do a lot of volume. And I want a lot of people to be conscious of that, knowing that it's not for everyone. It is for a very specific type of person that has a lot of space. My square footage for my warehouses have always been extremely cheap. So that's a benefit for me. The Resale Brothers, I believe they told me that warehouse that they're in is part of their property where they live. So that helps them, right? I have help also. They are 2 brothers working together alongside. A lot of people are by themselves. So you're either gonna have to get some help, work together, or be by yourself and hire someone. So that is an extra thing to think about. So the 80-20 rule is really what this whole video is about. Is 80% of your store, is lower end, mid-tier stuff that you can get consistently to infinity and beyond. The trucks that I get have a lot of that kind of stuff, the truckloads. and it's raw donations. And I do get the $1,000 items, the $500 Montclair jacket, the $2,000 Saint Laurent jacket. I do get that. And I would love to have a store full of that. But that's not a sustainable business model. And it's gonna be great when it sells. And I always love expensive things when they sell. Like, I would love a store full of that. But with my goals personally, I want to make well over $1 million a year with pure eBay, right? I'm not going to get there selling just pure $500 items, $2,000 items. It's going to take me a very long time to get there. It is much easier for me to get a bunch of this stuff right here that is endless. There are millions of pieces out there in existence that you can get and put into your eBay store to get to $1 million. That's much easier than having a 200 item store of high sell-through rate items. Now, a lot of people are gonna, not like this model. And when I first started doing this, I got a lot of naysayers in my comments saying that that was not a good model. And I agree, it's not for everyone. And I wouldn't say that this is the best model out there. And I wasn't even sure it was gonna 100% work with clothing. I gave it a shot. I saw that it worked with the Resale Brothers. I saw that it worked with other people in this market, and it worked for me, so I gave it a shot. And now we're at 21,000 within a little over a year of doing this, and we're gonna grow exponentially. It just takes time to build something like that. It took me a year to get to this point, and now we're gonna be growing exponentially sales-wise. So, it takes a while to get this. First 6 months of me selling on clothing, I didn't know what the heck I was listing into my store. Many times, I literally just deleted thousands of items within the growing phase of the first 6 months. Deleted them, donated them. I took a loss on a lot of stuff. Last 6 months has been completely different. I actually know what sells now from my personal experience, and I sell the same things over and over again. It's the closest thing to a replenishable store because I only get the same brands over and over again. And my other side of the warehouse right now, I have 1,500 Levi's that are in there. They're all good Levi's, vintage, modern, and Y2K. I have sold like 750 jeans in the last 90 days, which is a lot. I'm actually top 35 in the world in jeans, which is actually pretty crazy, but I'm shooting for #1. I think this time next year, I'll for sure be #1 in men's jeans, men's pre-owned jeans. But, I have a lot of jeans. I'm familiar with a lot of jeans, so I'm getting constantly the same kind of jeans over and over again. I already know which kind of jackets I'm looking for. I already know which kind of tops, shirts, skirts, shorts, and what brands to get within those specific categories. With those exact things that I'm looking for, I'm gonna build a like 50, 60,000 item store with the same things, and it's a repeatable business model at that point. I'm not guessing on what sells. I've sold it already hundreds and hundreds of times. Now I'm gonna turn that into thousands and thousands of times. I always get stuff that I've never heard of in my life that I post and sells right away. So that's always gonna be a thing, especially with clothing. There's so much stuff that I've never heard of that maybe you have never heard of, but it comes across my way. You're going through so many pieces of clothing and searching things up and feeling materials and knowing when something is just rare and not normal. So there's always going to be that occasional new thing that we come across, but for the most part, it's the same exact things over and over again. I was doing electronics, I would always get the same exact ones over and over again. It was always the same top 10 brands and the same 10 like categories. It was always never like something super rare that absolutely changed my business. It was always the same consistent ones over and over again, and then the occasional super expensive rare thing that I haven't seen since, right? Those things are not what build my business. The consistent same things that rotate within my store are what really builds an eBay business and what has really worked for me over the years. Right here is a video, guys, of what we consolidated within my eBay store. 2 months of being into this warehouse. I built these racks, filled them up, and then we just literally started listing items. We literally empty out like an entire rack of just stuff that is bread and butter, consistent, normal, everyday value stuff that rotates within my store, very consistently. I don't have a 100% sell-through rate. This is all stuff selling like 40 to 50% of the time within my store. And right now we are starting to list 1,000 items a week, which I know is crazy. With the amount of volume that I'm getting, honestly, it's actually not even that much compared to how much volume I'm getting. 60,000 pounds of clothing is actually more like 80,000 items. And that's why I also do wholesale. I supply great items for other people. And last month we sold over 10,000 items to wholesale, plus supplying a ton of inventory for myself. I get my stuff so cheap. I got to the point where I got my connection so good, I'm getting it as cheap as humanly possible. So I can still give out amazing deals to other people and still supply my store. and still have potentially in the future one of the biggest stores of all time in pre-owned clothing. Like, that's how much stuff I'm getting. So I'm not making this video to brag at all. A lot of people that know and watch me know that I'm not here to brag. I'm here to motivate and inspire others and show how I do it, how I personally do it. And those are the results I give me by doing it this way. So you guys can do it however way you want. There are many ways to do it. There are many ways to peel an onion, is what someone said in my comments the other day, and they're 100% right. There's some people that literally snipe stuff on Facebook Marketplace and make 10 grand a month profit with a 100-item store. Sometimes not even a 100-item store. That's a great way of doing it. But right now, the way I see it, with the supplies I have, if I wanted to get to $1 million profit in a year on eBay alone, I think this is the way to do it. And this is the way I'm going to do it. And this is the way I'm going to document how I do it. And we'll see what happens. Because when I first started clothing, I knew there was a chance of me failing. I knew I might not do it. But I still gave it a shot. And I still put myself out there to see what the heck was going to happen. And I've been sharing my failures and my wins. And that's the beauty of this YouTube channel and just YouTube in general, where you can share your experience and people can see it and watch it grow or watch it fail. And I was willing to take the chance on me failing in front of everyone to see if this worked or not. I was completely late to the party when it came to clothing. You know, clothing started many years ago. So many people hopped on the clothing wave when other people were killing it with it. And I was 5 years late to the party. So everyone was like, dude, you're too late, bro. It's already saturated. Like, there's no way you could do this. And here I am about to change how it's done. You know, we're not going to flea markets anymore. We're not going to thrift stores. We're doing it a totally different way. And we're going to see if it's viable, if it works. And I'll be the one to take the bullet to see if it works or not. And then people can copy me if I want. But right now, the way I'm doing it, we're getting it extremely cheap, the product, getting so much of it where I can wholesale it. And so far, it's going really good. So yeah, guys, this is the 80-20 rule model that I have always followed and that I just copied and pasted with clothing from electronics. You know, the only reason why I stopped doing electronics was because my main supplier went out of business. And then I really started looking at the landscape of the electronic world. And it was going to be very hard to find another person that could sell me raw, untouched electronic donations in bulk. I actually found more people. Like, a lot of people were like, why didn't you just get another supplier? That's easier than getting into clothing. I actually found people that were willing to sell me that stuff. But once I really started getting the ball rolling with clothing, knew the scalability of clothing versus electronics was totally different. There are so many things with electronics that aren't scalable, like the testing side, the processing side, the cleaning side, the negative feedback side of that world, the returns. My returns were 10%. 10% of like a 500,000 store is insane. 50,000 in returns. And my negative feedback was 92%. Guys, to really scale an electronic eBay store into the millions of dollars, you got to be doing everything perfect. And you got to know if everything really works. And that is very hard to do. And I didn't know if I wanted to do that. And if I wanted to get into that world again. And now that I got the ball rolling, I know I made the right choice switching into clothing. Like, with clothing, there's literally no science to it. There's no testing to it. Like, it either fits the person or it doesn't. And what's the condition of it, right? Like, I sell a lot of distressed jeans. Right now, distressed jeans are selling like just as good as, you know, in great shape jeans. But like, that's it. Whether it's distressed or it's in great shape, you just mention that in the description and it's done. With electronics, we would test something out, see if it worked, send it out, get the sale, and then people would still say like a very specific thing was wrong with it, and then return it, and then I have to send back $300. And like, I would sell a lot of stuff, 4 parts not working. I already knew it didn't work and people wouldn't read the description. That was so hard to do. Electronics was super hard. I didn't know if I wanted to go down that route again. I found more people. I literally found 3 more people that I could buy from. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to go down this route again. I was 5 years in already, and I was like, nah, you know what? Let's give this a shot. I really thought about this, guys. I went dark for a couple months. I didn't know which way I wanted to go. I didn't know if I was even going to do eBay. And I just had some experience with selling stuff on eBay, and I just went for it, guys. I just said, screw it, let's go. And now we're here. You know, last month was an amazing month, the biggest month of my life overall in business ever. And I can't even believe it. We did $110,000 last month overall with all my businesses. And it was something I wasn't even going to do anymore. So like right when you're about to give up and do something else, you know, you get tested and you just keep going to see if it works for you or not. And, you know, I'm not going to give up ever. It might not be eBay, but I'm never going to give up in anything that I do that I start. So, you know, we're here, we're doing clothing, and we are starting to get really good at it. I'm not the best at knowing exactly what everything is, but I'm the best at sourcing, finding connections, and that's what really moves the needle. Finding a good connection will beat anyone that knows more about me than clothing. So I'm going to work on my connections. I already have a great system where we're doing 1,000 items a week. And if we really wanted to ramp it up, we even could do more. So that's what really moves the needle on eBay, guys. Keep that in mind. And with a good game plan, anything is possible. You just got to get the game plan going, get a nice solid foundation of what is selling, what is not, what to look for, where to get it, and then it starts taking off. Right now, my eBay store is at 6,200 items. We are launching 120 items a day right now. We just started doing that 2 days ago. So we're gonna see what the heck happens. We got to $21,000 a month, listing 60 a day. We're gonna see what happens now, launching 120. Hopefully a double up, right? Which I think will happen because we're literally just listing the same stuff over and over again. We're just doubling it up now. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm top 35 in the world in selling jeans. In the last, I don't know, week, I bought 5,000 Levi's. I wholesaled a good amount of them, kept a good amount of them. And I have one pallet that I just picked up yesterday. If you guys are interested, the pallet looks like this kind of. There are 1,000 Levi's in there. If you guys are interested in that, only one person can buy it, and that is it. It's sold out. So if someone is interested, email me at paleotech.inc@gmail.com if you guys would like to get some information on that. And literally first come, first serve. And I take care of all the freight delivered to your doorstep. You guys don't got to go out and try to look for 1,000 Levi's in 3-4 months. You guys can get them in one transaction. We literally had an insane amount of jeans right here, and we already did like 800 items this week, and it's Thursday. We got my sister's boyfriend helping out, doing pictures, and everything's going great, guys. It is later in the day. Let me show you guys a little something over here. We got like 40 items packed up right here. These are some new racks that we're going to be using. 7 tiers in each rack, 700 items fit. But since we're consolidating, we're selling a good amount of stuff. This used to be full, and then we emptied it out by consolidating and moving everything back. Eventually, this will be a row of just pure clothes. And this is my entire electronics store. I'm only getting electronics that really, really sell fast and sell for a lot. That's it. Because, like I said, it's very hard to do the electronic game in scale, so I'm only going to focus on the very, very good stuff. This is my scale, the clothing. Over here, guys, we have no power yet, but I got an electrician in here, so we're going to get power on this side. This is all pallets. This is the 1,000 Levi's in here, and then there's another 700 that I'm keeping for myself, and then we listed all these. This is almost done. And then we have more eBay pallets going out. And then everything else is emptied out. I know it's a little dark in here, but hopefully you guys can see. This is a pallet jack scale for my pallets that just came in from Uline. It was $2,300, which I was like, dang, man. But, you know, it's an investment for the business. And, yeah, I'm super excited to show you guys that in future videos. And this is a new addition. I know it's dark, but it is a brand new gym that we installed. We did chest yesterday with the guys. Leg extension machine that turns into a hamstring machine, and now we have no excuse to not work out. At least I don't. So every single day, 5-6 days a week, I can get a great workout in. And this is the rack house area, and this is the eBay warehouse area. And yeah, guys, it's getting there. Check it out. Boom. Full clothing over here. Right here. What's up, Eli? Say what's up to the camera. My sister is hiding. I got this walking treadmill. This desk goes up. Put a video right here of what it looks like when I use it. And yeah, guys, this is the operation. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much the operation right now. The 80-20 rule works amazing for me and works amazing for other people. and you guys got to figure out what works best for you. That's something that literally I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I was doing that when I did that. I was just like, oh, the cheap stuff pays all the bills, and then the expensive stuff is the cherry on top. That was my mentality, as caveman as it sounds. That's the way I just did it. I didn't think about it too much. I just literally did it, and it made me over $1 million in just pure electronics, just by like having that little philosophy. In that video, I posted it 3 years ago. Now we're 3 years in doing something totally different, and that's still my philosophy. I'm still doing that, and it still works. So yeah, just something to think about. Comment down below what you guys think on the 80-20 rule, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Let's go.